Hello guys and welcome to my way to FIRE. Today's topic is directly linked to the channel's name because I'm going to talk about the FIRE movement. FIRE is short for Financial Independence Retire Early. So what is it? How do you achieve it? Can anyone do it? How much money do you need? I'll give you answers to all of that and some more. FIRE is a movement of people who save as much of their income as possible and invest it to create passive income. Retirement doesn't have to be specified by age and you don't have to work until you are 65 years old. It can also be a financial number. If you have enough money to take care of all of your bills, you don't have to work anymore. After you achieve your goal, you don't have to rely on your 9-to-5 job for money. How do people do it? People dedicated to FIRE try to save and invest aggressively. We are talking about 50% of their income, or even more. If you want to reach FIRE, you are going to need to do two things. Keep your expenses low and find ways to increase your income. The more you are able to save and invest, the sooner you'll reach your goal. You have to think about work and money and what's important to you to decide what the right balance is. Do you have to save 50% or more of your income? Not necessarily. FIRE can be whatever you make it. There are different types of FIRE which I will get to later in the video, but everyone can choose when they want to retire and how much money they need. The definition of FIRE has become a lot broader and lots of people think more about the financial independence rather than the early retirement. To gain financial independence means to be able to decide what you want to do with your time, without having to worry about the need to earn money. First of all, you have to make a plan. There are many things to consider. How much money do you need? Try to calculate how much money you spend in a year. That includes all of your expenses, such as housing, transportation, food, holidays, going to the movies, etc. If you are not sure, it might be better to think of a little higher number, just to be safe. Rule of thumb is that you multiply your yearly expenses by 25 to 30 and that's approximately how much money you need to retire. The next step is to start tracking your expenses more carefully. Go over your monthly expenses and see where you can reduce your spending. Unless you are already practicing FIRE, you can find ways to save more money. Maybe it's on eating out too often. Maybe take the subway instead of Uber or make coffee at home instead of buying it at Starbucks. Review your monthly bills for your phone and internet. Are you subscribed to 3 online streaming services while you only ever watch one anyway? Cut back where you can and you'll see how it all adds up. I have already mentioned this in my previous videos, but make sure you have an emergency fund. Apart from investing, you should also keep some money in a savings account just in case anything happens. Usually a couple months' worth of expenses is advised. After going over your expenses and reducing them, it is time to think about the second important thing I mentioned at the beginning of this video. Now you have to think about ways to increase your income. You can do that in many ways. It could be by getting a promotion in your current job, switching to a different company where they offer you more money, getting a second part-time job or a side hustle. Making additional income can boost your progress and help you reach FIRE sooner. Or maybe you are comfortable where you are right now and with your pace. That is also fine. As I said, FIRE can be whatever you make it. Just make sure to stay out of lifestyle inflation. That's a term for increased spending alongside your income. When should you start? Although the sooner you start the better, you can start at any age. In one of my previous videos I talked about the compound interest and how it helps you over time, so make sure you check it out. I'll leave a link in the description. There are 3 main types of FIRE, so let's go over them and see the differences. The first one is called lean FIRE. Lean FIRE is the faster and thus the more modest version. If you decide to go for lean FIRE, you want to really cut back on expenses, live frugally and just save the necessary amount as soon as possible. It also means less money to spend in retirement, as you don't have a big passive income. This is for people who are minimalist and don't mind living frugally. To put this in perspective, the average US household spends about $60,000 a year. If we multiply that by 25, that gives us a total of $1.5 million. But you also have to consider where you live. Some areas are much more expensive to live in than others. For example, if you decide to live in the Midwest, you could live on way less than that. Another important aspect is whether you live alone, with a partner, or even a family with children. If you live as a couple in a low-cost area of living, you could retire with under $1 million invested. Let's say your annual expenses are $30,000, then you could live off of $750,000 invested. Some people take it as far as moving to an entirely different country, where their expenses get even lower. Now let's say you don't want to give up any comfort and frugal lifestyle is not for you. Then you might be interested in FIRE. People who follow this method don't want to make any sacrifices in their spending, but it also means they need to save and invest more money to be able to fund it. That usually means it will take longer to achieve their goal. If you, for example, think you will need $100,000 a year to live comfortably, you will have to save up $2.5 to $3 million. Despite the higher amount of money needed for F.I.R.E, there is another advantage to it. If the value of your portfolio goes down, you are way better off than someone on lean F.I.R.E since you have a lot of spending you can cut back on until the market recovers. Another approach is called the Barista F.I.R.E or the Coast F.I.R.E. This type of F.I.R.E is applied by people who are more focused on the financial independence part rather than retiring early. If you want to achieve Barista F.I.R.E, you want to have enough money to be able to quit your main job early, but instead of retiring you decide to work a part-time job, be a freelancer or get the job you always wanted, which doesn't pay very well, but is fun or fulfilling. As with all of the previous cases, it entirely depends on you and your needs and desires. These three are the most popular forms of F.I.R.E, but as mentioned previously, you can make it whatever you want it to be and adjust it to your preferences. Even if you are thinking to yourself that extreme saving is not for you, you can think about starting slow. Pay off your credit card debt if you have any. Start saving 10% of your income and see how it goes. Maybe you will want to save more once it starts piling up. Try cutting back on a couple of things and find out if you miss them. Cook more food at home instead of going out. There are many ways to save more money, but I think I will leave it to another video. There are also subreddits for the mentioned types of F.I.R.E where people share their experience. You can learn a lot from what they have to say and share tips with each other. Many people describe their journey and how they managed to reach their goal. Those in F.I.R.E also discuss how they explain to other family members and friends why they don't work anymore and whether they should tell anyone how rich they are. Another hot topic in F.I.R.E is traveling and other activities. Others are there to learn new ways to both decrease spending and increase income. And some just want to share their progress, so you can encourage each other. I am personally mostly interested in the financial independence part because I don't want to spend my time doing something I don't like. So my goal is to have enough money to be able to retire anytime, but I also can't see myself doing nothing all day. I want to be able to devote to anything I find interesting at the time. I would definitely want to travel for some time, but even that might get boring after several trips. Maybe I will want to try brewing beer, or start gardening. The possibilities are endless and that's what is so beautiful about F.I.R.E. Anyway, I am only getting started and there's a long way ahead of me and you can tag along. Guys, if you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please hit the like button to support this channel, and if you are interested in more videos about investing, personal finance and just overall money related topics, then make sure you subscribe. As always, thank you so much for watching and I hope to see you in the next video.